Welcome to The Explainer. We are jumping right in today because the smart home market has completely transformed. We are way past the era of simple novelty gadgets. Today, it's all about complex, integrated ecosystems, and honestly, sourcing the right tech in 2026 demands a seriously strategic approach. So we're going to map out exactly how you should be evaluating your procurement options with a massive focus on the core considerations, like the Matter protocol and strict compliance requirements that really separate the industry leaders from everyone else.
Okay, let's dive right into this quote. A 5% failure rate in IoT devices can destroy a brand's reputation overnight. I want that to really sink in. We aren't just buying plastic and wires here, we're essentially procuring the digital backbone of people's homes. The stakes are incredibly high. When a cheap smart plug fails, it isn't just a minor annoyance for the user. Worst case scenario, you've just sold an accidental space heater and a massive fire hazard. That is the intense reality of the market we're navigating. Quick look at our roadmap for today. First, the 2026 sourcing landscape. Second, core procurement considerations. Third, top manufacturer profiles. And lastly, sourcing strategy and protocols.
Section 1. The 2026 sourcing landscape, China's smart home hubs.
So finding the right factory isn't just about throwing a dart at a map. Your sourcing efficiency heavily depends on geographic proximity to specific component ecosystems. For instance, if you need cutting-edge PCBA design, smart security, or complex OEM projects, your absolute go-to is Shenzhen. It's the undisputed global heart of IoT. But say your product relies on AI integration and massive cloud-to-device software ecosystems, you actually want to look at Hangzhou, the home of the software giants. And for what we call smart plus traditional hardware, like adding smart tech to motorized blinds or lighting, Ningbo and Zhongshan are your specialized hubs. Knowing exactly where to look is half the battle.
Section 2. Core procurement considerations, the evaluator's workflow.
To move from just blindly finding a factory to actually evaluating a digital backbone, top-tier procurement managers are using this four-step framework. Step 1, protocol and interoperability. Step 2, firmware customization. Step 3, certification and compliance. And Step 4, balancing minimum order quantities with customization. Let's break down the two most absolutely critical elements of this workflow, starting with protocol.
Look, if you remember literally one thing from this explainer, make it this: the Matter 1.3 standard. You need to be asking every potential supplier for their Matter-certified roadmap immediately. Why? Because Matter is the ultimate cross-brand interoperability protocol. It's what allows an Apple HomeKit user, a Google Home user, and an Amazon Alexa user to all operate the exact same device seamlessly. By 2026, Matter is no longer a nice-to-have luxury, it's a strict mandate. If a supplier isn't actively moving toward Matter, they're selling you soon-to-be obsolete legacy hardware, period.
Equally important is Step 3 of our workflow, certification and compliance. Remember, smart home devices are connecting directly to high-voltage mains or processing highly sensitive user data. That requires absolute 100% certification integrity. For safety, you've got to have CE, ROHS, FCC, and ETL or UL marks for the US and Europe. For connectivity, make sure they hold Zigbee Alliance or CSA certifications. And please, do not overlook data. If your devices talk to the cloud, GDPR compliance, and knowing exactly where those servers physically live is totally non-negotiable for the European market.
Now bouncing back to Step 2 of our framework for a second, over-the-air or OTA updates. Why is this such a big deal? Well, in the smart home world, a product is never actually finished. The second a new cyber threat pops up, you need the ability to remotely patch those security flaws on your customers' devices. OTA capability is basically your ultimate safety net. It massively reduces your brand's long-term liability, because without it, one single software vulnerability could force a hugely expensive physical recall.
Section 3. Top manufacturer profiles. Partnering for success.
Now, what's really fascinating here is looking at how these top 7 suppliers cater to vastly different buyer profiles and technical needs. You've got everything from budget e-commerce options to high-end retail manufacturers. Picking the right partner is going to depend entirely on your specific market position. Let's actually spotlight a few of these to show you exactly what I mean.
First up is Aqara. They are the perfect example for bulk buyers and high-end retailers who need absolute premium reliability. They bring incredible industrial design to the table, native Apple HomeKit support, and robust Zigbee and Matter integration. But there is a trade-off. They maintain much stricter pricing controls and higher minimum order quantities compared to your generic white label factories. Basically, you're paying for that stability. Next, Pointing back to our big focus on compliance, we have Hyman. If your primary goal is safety and regulatory adherence, say you're selling smart smoke, gas, or water leak detectors, Hyman is your Tier 1 solution. They're one of the rare factories that can actually hand over the heavy, rigorous documentation required for super strict European insurance standards like EN 1464 or VDS. When compliance is literally life or death, this is your go-to.
On the flip side, we have ZemiSmart. Remember our huge emphasis on the Matter protocol earlier? Well, ZemiSmart is the strategic choice for early adopters and really agile e-commerce sellers trying to capitalize on that standard right now. They are intensely focused on being first to market with Matter over Thread devices. So if you need the latest communication protocols and you need them fast, they're a fantastic tech-forward partner.
And of course, we absolutely have to talk about the Toya ecosystem. It is so vital to clear up a common misconception here. You generally don't buy Toya hardware directly. Toya is actually a massive platform as a service, or PaaS. What you're really doing is finding factories that are powered by Toya. This lets brand owners build huge diverse product catalogs from dozens of different factories, but unify all of them under a single white-labeled app. It's an incredibly powerful tool for rapid integration.
Section 4. Sourcing Strategy and Protocols. Mitigating Risks.
This brilliantly illustrates one of the most common strategic decisions you're going to make: Wi-Fi versus Zigbee. Wi-Fi is fantastic for standalone, entry-level devices. Think a single smart plug or a smart bulb. You don't need a central hub. Zigbee, on the other hand, is best for comprehensive, low-power, whole-home systems like sensors and switches, but it does require a gateway. While these two have dominated the legacy landscape, always remember what we talked about. Matter is the new standard actively designed to bridge the gap between these isolated ecosystems.
Let's also set some realistic expectations around lead times. If you're going the standard OEM route, which basically means taking an off-the-shelf product and slapping your custom branding on it, you're generally looking at a 30 to 45-day turnaround. But if you're jumping into ODM, meaning you need custom PCBA design or totally new plastic injection molds built from scratch, you've got to budget 90 to 120 days. You have to build in time for prototyping and debugging.
So here is the crucial takeaway. The absolute cheapest option on the market always has hidden costs. Cheap capacitors, those lead directly to fire hazards. Unstable Wi-Fi modules, get ready for mass returns and devastating reviews. You absolutely must focus on suppliers utilizing reliable, well-known chipsets inside their devices. We're talking names like Espressif, Realtek, or Nordic Semiconductor. Whatever you do not cut corners on the internal silicon.
Which leaves us with one final provocative question to ask yourself as you evaluate your 2026 supply chain. Are you truly saving money on your chips, or are you just gambling with your brand's reputation? Building a smart home ecosystem requires rigorous attention to Matter integration, an absolute dedication to compliance, and picking the right manufacturing partner for your specific needs. Keep these frameworks front and center, and you'll be well on your way to sourcing success. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.